Day 1. Our adventurers start out in a seedy tavern in a big city. It's Coronation Day, so there's lots of celebrations going on and people doing lots of activity. There's actually a parade about to go on very shortly. People are lining the streets, but inside there happens to be a arm wrestling competition to which our barbarian greedily accepts the challenge. Upon arm wrestling, through various checks and skills, he wins. And the loser is a little bit sore of a loser. The loser's name is Gumption. And he makes a comment to which the group immediately starts a fight with him and his friends. Upon throwing Gumption outside, the Death Cleric goes to try and finish the job. When he is then noticed by the huge crowd outside and everyone else around and guards about, and thinks better of it. Gumption and his buddies run away. They decide to go back into the bar and drink for a majority of the rest of the afternoon. They do not check out the parade. Upon drinking, at some point, some gentlemen come in, exclaiming they can't believe that several noblemen have been murdered in the city. The party decides to ask questions about the murders, to which they find out that the noble people actually helped start the town, or founded the town, and they were killed, and they decide to go to the guard to find out more information. They say that they're trying to help find out what happened when they discover a few pieces of information. One, several ceremonial relics of old cults or cult activity were stolen from an auction house. Two, all the deaths were seemed to be in, or were there were 5 deaths total throughout the city. And one of the people with a very high investigation check, looking at the map, find that the deaths were very strategic in that if you combined all the dots, the deaths make a pentagram. And the group decided to check out the center of the pentagram. It's about late afternoon around this time when they get to cross town. As they're searching the sort of streets, they run into a giant goat-looking guy, an owl bear, and some other creatures, and they're successful in their initial. Oh, a troll. They ran into a troll. They're successful in their initial battle. However, they were then overwhelmed and confronted by even more monsters that ambushed them in their weakened state, and they were killed. They woke up, or came to, in the midst of the arm wrestling competition back in that tavern at the beginning of the day. They kind of realized right away what was going on. Day 2, he wins the arm wrestling competition again. They decided to get into a fight once more, but they got into an even bigger fight, and were just going to keep on killing, or going to kill until Gumption and his friends were forced to become, that's right, it turns out they're werewolves. And they frighten everybody in the town, or that's nearby, and before the parade can start, guards come, tons of guards, and they all end up escaping and regrouping later, and they wasted a whole bunch of time there. It gets to be late evening, and they find themselves at the coronation ceremony, which takes place at the tip of the pentagram star. And upon the new prince being crowned the king, an explosion happens, an alchemist fire explosion happens, killing them all, and they start over back in the tavern. They actually go out and check out the parade this time, and I think he defeated Gumption once more, but didn't pursue anything after that, or just said F this. And they see in the parade line that in these cages, there's these cages being brought into the city, and they're housing these creatures, the creatures that killed them on the first day. And they decide to follow the creatures, and they end up going to this guard camp, where they kind of go 0 to 100 in explaining and talking to one of the guardsmen, and in such a peculiar way that uh, I couldn't help but seem that the guard would have been like, you know what, just to be safe, we're going to go ahead and imprison you for the day. Um, to make sure they don't cause any trouble. So they ended up being in prison for the rest of the day, to which they didn't feel they didn't get blown up, but they heard the explosion, followed by earthquakes. And then shortly after the earthquakes happened and they escaped their confines of the prison, as they were trying to escape the prison, the several of these large crab people, shrimp, tentacle faced things come out and end up tearing them apart. And then they came to and woke up the next day one more time. And that's where we currently are.